Hello fellow human, hope you guys have a great day and let's read some r/I don't work here lady stories. To the first one. No, I don't work here, but neither should you. Anyone who has ever shopped at Home Depot knows how hard it can be to find an employee to help you. If you do find one, that doesn't always mean they will know what they're talking about. I'm always at Home Depot picking up odds and ends that I've forgotten to order from the supply house for my job. I cannot believe the number of times I've overheard employees giving a customer wrong and sometimes dangerous information. For example, customer wants help hooking up his new hot tub. Orange aproned idiot is explaining to customer how he needs this standard non-fuse disconnect meant for all air conditioners and some of the yellow wire. At this point, I had to step in. Me, sir, do you know what amperage your tub is rated at? Customer shuffles the papers he was smart enough to bring with him. This says 40 amp minimum, 50 amp max. Me, well, that's what I thought. If you use that yellow wire, the best you can hope for is that you'll constantly be tripping out the circuit. At worst, you could burn down the house. I then direct him to the correct size wire and fuse disconnect and ask him if he has a permit for the electrical work. That's when Orange Apron, who has been following us and muttering, finally finds his voice. OA. He doesn't need a permit. As a homeowner, he can do whatever he wants. Me. Yeah, no. In this state, even homeowners are required to get permits and inspections by the local authority having jurisdiction. In this case, it's the City of Home Planning Department for all electrical work. Oh wait, oh yeah? How would you know? Me. Looks down at shirt with electrical contractor I work on it. Yeah, you're right. I've only been doing this for 20 years. What would I know? Turns back to customer. Look, you can listen to him if you want. It's your house and your life. Oh wait, he's just trying to scare you into hiring him to do it for you. Me, actually, I don't have time for side jobs, and besides, I don't have a contractor's license, just a journeyman's. I cannot pull permits. Have a nice day. As I'm walking away, the customer puts his items down and tells OA that he won't be needing them after all. The next day, I get a call from my boss. It seems he received 2 phone calls that day. The first was from a manager at Home Depot who was complaining that I was poaching jobs in our store. After telling him what happened, he ended up calling them back and asking if it was their policy to endanger lives and property with incompetent advice. The second was from the customer, who now wanted someone from our company to come out and do it right. This is so hilarious, and also thank you for being that guy. The second story. You don't work here, lady. I was, and still kinda am, in the army. I was working then brigade staff duty desk on day. I was a specialist enlisted E4, and this woman comes walking in. She demands to speak with the brigade commander and O6 colonel. She tells me she's the major's O4 wife and demands to see the colonel. I called up the colonel's office and asked them if this was planned. They say no, she needs to either schedule a meeting along with her spouse. Now get her out of here. I explained the deal to her and asked her to leave. She blew up and started screaming all the fat skank dependopotamus stuff all military wives say. Then she looks at me and says, I'm a major's wife. I order you to let me in. Fed up due to being 23 hours into a 24-hour shift, I tell her, excuse me, ma'am, are you a major? Right, then get the duck out. She leaves. The duty NCO tells me that probably wasn't the best course of action, but laughs us off anyway. We filled out an incident report and figure since her husband isn't in our direct chain of command, and since majors are useless, little will come of it. As we're leaving, about 15 minutes later, the major comes running in, panicking. The brigade commander comes down the stairs and screams at this guy, if your wife ever comes here in again, if she even calls my office again, I will have your commission. She is barred from coming on post not in your custody. No PX, no commissionery, FRG meetings, and that's it. She tried to order a soldier. He told her to screw off. Well, she can't screw off. Moral of the story, just because your spouse is military doesn't mean you are. Well, I wonder how did the major respond to getting dressed down on behalf of his wife? The third story, how $5 headphone became $40 Bluetooth. I work as a sampler at a large warehouse superstore. My uniform is a white polo and black pants with a blue apron. I say this because in no way do I look like I work at Target. My story begins after work. It was about 6 p.m. and I decided to stop by Target near my work. As I was wandering, I was listening to music on some cheap $5 headphones. I was looking to see if there were any good movies for a weekend binge. This woman in her mid-30s, early 40s came up behind me and jammed her finger into my shoulder. I turned around and pulled out an urn. Mean woman will be MW and I will be me. Me, I'm sorry, I'll move, I said as I stepped to the side and she grabbed my shirt. Mean woman, where are you going? You need to help me. Me, I'm sorry, I don't work here, and I put my earbud back in. She grabbed the wire to my earbud and ripped it out of my ear. For context, these were $5 earbuds I got at Walmart. They were cheap and had a small bit of plastic from the mold still on them, and when she pulled the plastic sketched the inside of my ear and it hurt like hell. Mean woman, oh, don't give me that crap! Now stop being lazy and help me find... Me, I don't work here, you cranky old tramp! Piss off! Mean woman, how dare you! I will personally see you are fired! And she storms off. I put my earbud back in, and surprised she tore the wire inside and I could not hear anything from it. As I continue looking for movies, I hear, MW, there he is! That is the man who won't help me and called me a tramp! Manager will be M. Manager, ma'am, he's not an employee here, but I can still help you. Mean woman, what do you mean? He's wearing a white polo. Of course he works here. Manager, ma'am, all Target employees wear red polos. Mean woman, well, I'm never coming here again if this is how I'm going to be treated. Seeing a chance to be petty, I chimed in. Me, excuse me, miss. I think you need to buy me a new headphone since you broke mine. Mean woman, I will not, you little crap. Me, if not, I can always press charges on assault. There are cameras that caught the whole thing. Manager, well, if he does press charges, we will go over the footage. At this, without another word, she grabbed a pair of $40 headphones and bought them and threw them at me before storming out. Well, I hope you and that manager did an epic high five. Nice. On to the fourth story. Actually, I do work here, and no, you didn't get the job. It happened about 15 years ago and I actually found my original interview notes from this encounter. Here it goes. I'm driving back to the office after a hasty lunch. I've spent the entire morning interviewing candidates for a vacancy in my team, and I've got a full afternoon of interviews lined up. As I drive up to our parking lot, an obnoxious dude, OD, cuts right in front of me, causing me to slam on the brakes hard to avoid hitting his car. I smack my horn and give him an exasperated WTF look when he looks back at me through his rearview mirror. OD ignores me and proceeds to turn into our parking lot. OD then pulls into my designated lot, and I pull alongside him. Me, you really need to watch how you drive. You almost hit me. OD rolls down his window and extends his middle finger. Loud Euro techno music emanates from his car. OD revs his engine and yells back, "Go F yourself!" If this was any other day, I'd be getting ready to respond in kind, but I've got my afternoon schedule packed full of interviews and I don't have time or patience to deal with OD. I shake my head in frustration, but I move my car a couple of lots away, just in case OD decides to do something to my car. I figure this is the end of my interaction with OD, and I rush into the office to get ready for the interviews. Our manager notices that I'm out of sorts and asks if I'm okay. I explain what transpired in the parking lot and quickly brush it off. Our office manager is like a mother to me and very protective. I assure her that I'm fine and she can send the next candidate over to my office. About an hour later, I'm between interviews and I hear a knock on my door. It's the office manager with a knowing look on her face. Hey OP, I think your OD is lined up for the next interview. Well, send him in, I say. Office manager flashes the same knowing look and nods. This is going to be interesting. A few seconds later, OD walks up to the door and sits himself down in a chair before looking up and realizing who I am. Awkward silence. OD, about just now? Yes, I say. In the parking lot, I was in a rush, stress of the interview, Amazing. OD doesn't even have the decency to apologize. OD then begins to tell me how he's a good fit for the role and that in his opinion, I need to stop interviewing other candidates immediately or something to that effect. I keep a blank face throughout the interview and I just look at him. I don't consider myself to be a mean person, but it is an absolute joy seeing him scream in the seat in front of him. I wait for another uncomfortably long pause before leaning forward across the table. OD cringes back in his seat. Me, where your interview began in the parking lot, and I'm happy to say that you will not be getting the job. OD sags visibly and retreats from the room. Office manager's hat pops in my doorway 5 minutes later with a huge grin on her face. For the rest of my time at that job, the office manager would bring it up every now and then, and we have had a big laugh about it. This experience taught me to always be humble and gracious to other people, and also not to be a jackbutt on the road. Well, that definitely have taught him a lesson. On to the fifth story. Give me that table. Well, this happened in the early 90s. I went to elementary school with a girl whose family owned a successful small chain of Greek dinners in town. We'll call her Tanya. When we started high school together, her family let her have a small lunch party at a location by our school that was also in a very wealthy neighborhood. We were 14, all gangly elbows and giggles while Tanya graciously ferried our orders of mostly French fries to and from the table to keep one of the waitresses from being boggled down with a non-tipping private party of sugared-up teenage girls. In walks entitled woman, hereafter known as idwhl, who marches straight to the hostess and announces she will need their biggest table for her family's lunch. The dinner was hopping as it was prime lunchtime, so the hostess told idwhl it would be at least 30 minutes wait for an 8 top. The entitled woman launches into a tirade about how her family is parking, and the hostess has maximum 5 minutes to find her and her family a table, or she's calling her personal friend, the manager, to get her fired. The hostess is stunned and tries to stammer out something apologetic, but idwhl just walks past her to survey the tables. She spots our little group in the back and immediately she tells the hostess to clear out those stupid kids out and reset the table for her family. The hostess refuses and tells entitled woman she will have to wait like everyone else. The entitled woman loses it, screaming at how she will have everyone fired. It's gone dead silent and everyone is staring at her. idwhl's family is starting to filter in behind her and looks on confused. Probably feeling emboldened by having backup, idwhl proceeds to march over to our table and snatch baskets of fries and drinks off the table and throwing them in the nearby bus cart, yelling at us that we are done wasting the restaurant's money and that it's time to go. Most of us cringe away from her looking confused, but Tanya, still carrying a basket of fries, got right in her face telling her to go away and stop being rude. idwhl was waiting for this apparently and chose to double down. She pulls out her ace card. Do you know who I am? And claims to be the owner's mother. Right to Tanya's face and tell her she can kiss her little waitressing job goodbye. Tanya stares this feckless cow down without looking away, yells, Hey, Dad! Yaya is here to see you! Her dad pops his head out of the kitchen looking alarmed. I hope not! She's been dead for 6 years! Hilarity ensues. What a strange tactic to pretend to be so closely related to the owner of a restaurant you've never been to just to get your way? Questionable. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.